Hello and welcome to another episode of the Portrait Profit Show. My name is Jim Landers and my mission is simple. I help portrait photographers like you make a great income doing what they love. Each week, you get tips and systems on the business side of photography designed to help you gain a better mastery over marketing and sales, reducing the struggles that most photographers face, so you can finally get what you deserve. You're in the right place. Welcome to the Portrait Profit Show. I want you to know that the Portrait Profit Show is sponsored by Landers Photography School and by Digital Pro Lab. And we have Amanda with us today to share a little bit about what you're doing at Digital Pro Lab.
Hi, everybody. I hope you're doing well today. We're starting another week and another Portrait Profit session here with Landers Photography School and Digital Pro Lab. So thanks again for joining us. I know Jim's got a really great topic for you today. And as always, we have a lot to discuss as far as what's going on with Digital Pro Lab. Next week, we do have an event called Espresso and Edits scheduled for Thursday. If you're a photographer and enjoy collaborating or being amongst your peers and learning different softwares, getting inspired by different ways of doing things, we encourage you to join us for our next Espresso and Edits, which we actually partner with Camera Exchange. We're going to be at a local coffee shop here in San Antonio. If you're not familiar with digitalprolab.com, I want you to go over to digitalprolab.com, click on our events button at the very top, and I want you to take a look at the several events that we've got coming up, not least of all being the Espresso and Edits, but also future Portrait Profits that are going to be showcased here every Monday, as well as any other upcoming events that we might have. So we're trying, like Jim is doing as well, to bring our photography community closer together and really inspire each other this year in 2021. So hopefully you can head on over to digitalprolab.com, click on events, and see what events might be popping up that you might want to join us for. As always, I also have a promo code for you at the end of the event. This particular promo code is going to be near and dear to me because we want to encourage everybody to print their photos. Everybody. And I want you to think of yourself right now and decide, are you just a photographer or are you also a parent? Are you a sibling? Are you a spouse? There are different occasions that we need to be printing. And if you're running a successful photography business and you're trying to sell prints, then it's really, really important for you to value prints as well. Not only as a professional photographer, but as a person that values the moments in your life that are important to you and important to your family members. So I'm just going to give you a quick example of that. It's a USB. Many photographers are giving these away. And before that, discs. This is what we want you to give your clients. This is what we want you to value. So at the end of this Portrait Profits, we're going to be giving 40% off 5x5, 5x7, and 8x10 Pro Luster and metallic prints with our promo code because we want you to see the value in printing just like we do and Jim does. So stay tuned for the end of this Portrait Profits so you can stay tuned for that promo code. And thank you as always for joining us. Jim, back over to you.
That was fantastic, Amanda. Yeah, we photographers, I think we already do value it or we haven't done it yet. And so by you giving us these incredible specials, we have no excuse not to print. So thank you so much for giving us that type of incentive to try something that maybe we don't do all the time. That's fantastic. Thank you.
It's important you practice what you preach.
Amen. I agree. I could be better at that, though. Thanks so much, Amanda.
You're welcome.
Well, I want to, I don't have a promo code, but I wanted to tell you about landersphotoschool.com and encourage you to join the mailing list so that you can find out what is coming up. All the different classes that we have. The majority of our classes are now on the business side, and many of them are via Zoom. We do still teach a handful of photography classes, but it is mostly on the business side. How to make you guys make a living with photography. Make a good income with photography. You deserve it. You don't deserve to be scraping by. You deserve to have wonderful equipment. You deserve to make a profit. And I help you do that. And feel good about it. And guess what? Your clients do too. I'll tell you a quick story. I, in 2013, decided I'm going to spend a lot more time teaching. I started teaching in 1997. In 2003, started to get pretty serious about it. In 2009, got real serious about it. But in 2013, I realized that weddings were taking me way too much time. And so I decided to take them out of the equation and stop doing them. And so I raised my price to $12,000. And guess what? I thought that would cause fewer people. And it would cause people not to work with me. The opposite happened, guys. I thought I was stopping the wedding photography side of my business in 2013. It went on for another 2 years before I decided I have to stop. You have a different type of person at those higher prices. At the low end, a lot of times they are very kind and appreciative, but there are also those who don't fall into that category. And for you as a creative, people who are appreciative of your work fuel you. It isn't the money. Money doesn't fuel me. The thing that fuels me is the reaction of my client. Now, this may sound odd to someone who's not a photographer, but the tears of joy fuel me better than than the amount they're paying. Way better. I love it, and you love it. When someone looks at your work and they have tears of joy, and you know they're going to have those same tears of joy every time they walk past it on their wall. You've done that. You've made that possible in their life. You've helped them see a little better what they already knew. For me, I specialize in portraits, family portraits as home decor. And so all of my clients get wall portraits because I tell them that's what I do. And I recommend that you guys tell them what you do. Tell them. Whatever it is you do, tell them. A generalist, well, every photographer can do that. The neighbor could be a generalist. But when you're specific about what you do, you wind up getting that kind of client. And when you charge an amount that's appropriate, something that causes you to make a living, people respect you. I guarantee you, I got no complaints about my $12,000 wedding price list. But the previous one, I did. Not often, but every once in a while. And a complaint may be too strong a word, but you guys know what I'm talking about. When you get serious, things start working. So join my email list. I see that some of you have already started sharing a little bit and posting. Lindsay Lambert says hello. And so I want to say, Lindsay, hello. I'm glad you're here. And I want to encourage you guys who are watching, send us a message. If you, when you see the link, when you see the message, the video, part of the text says, if you want to be known or something along those lines, if you want StreamYard to know who you are so that it can send us that information, all you got to do is accept it. It won't do it unless you accept it. And so I know Lindsay's name because she accepted that. But it says Facebook user, and I am so glad you're here. And hi, Facebook user. I'd really like to know your name. So if you don't mind clicking on the accept so I know who it was that said hi, because I'm thrilled that you said hi, and I want to say hi back to your name. So please accept that Facebook request. And I see that Nita just said hola. So thank you. Thank you for being here. I appreciate you and all those who are here watching. I want to encourage you also, when you hear something that sounds good, maybe you haven't heard it before, maybe it's a different way of hearing it, I'd like for you to click that like button. And you don't have to click it just once. You can click it multiple times. And love might be even better, but only if it's appropriate. If you really love what I just said or what Amanda just said, tell us. We love that interaction. And I want to say hi to Miguel. How's it going, Miguel? I'm glad you're here. Miguel and I had lunch last week, so had good conversation. And Rick, howdy. I'm so glad you guys are here. You guys are wonderful. I want to get into this week's episode, and I'm going to share my screen so that you can follow along with what I'm saying. I may not share it the entire time, but I at least want you to see what it is that I'm seeing. I have this as a Word document, and I'm going to share that. Share that screen. That should. There it is. All right, so you should be able to see right now me and my handout. Big profits from mini sessions. Now, I'm going to define what a mini session is here in just a moment. But I want to, in this blue box, I want you to see something real quick or know something real quick. There's a difference between simple and easy. And you probably know that. Simple means simplified and organized. But it does not mean it's going to be easy. Easy is a description of the amount of effort. What you're doing here as a photography business is not easy. You can make it simple, though, by making things simplified and organized. By the way, if it were easy, everybody would be doing it. So I'm actually grateful that it's not easy. It wasn't that way at first, though. Not at all. There were times, many times, where I said I wish it was easier. And now I think the better way to say that is, I wish I was better. I don't want it to be easy. I don't want everyone to be doing it. I want those with passion and love and dedication. I want to compete against those guys. Because then it's not competition. That's us working together, uplifting each other to better the entire photography community so that we all can make a living, and a really good one at that. Let's define what a mini session is real quick. Now, this is my opinion. I'm sure there are those who disagree with it, and that's fine. But this is my opinion, and I do believe this to be true, and I don't, I'm going to back it up. And I believe that once I do, you'll see why I say this the way I'm saying it. What is a mini session? I think that most would define it as a very short photography session. And while that is the truth, it is a short photography session. If that's all that you think it is, oh my gosh, you are missing one of the most important purposes of a mini session. The most important part is doing several sessions back to back over a scheduled period of time. Let's say you drive out somewhere, beautiful place, and you photograph someone and you're only there with them 15 minutes, 20 minutes. You can't call that a mini session. It's still a regular session. It's just short. A mini session is an event that is planned, it's organized, and it's marketed for multiple clients who can book a short period of time, knowing that they can't be late, knowing that the session can't go long because someone is going to be waiting for them. The advantage to the client? Probably obvious, a lower price. But it does not change the amount of money you make. You're just dividing your normal rate by several people. That is how you define a mini session. It does not mean you make less money. If you're making less money, it's because you didn't plan it effectively. By the way, there are special projects that I recommend my students do, even those that don't do any mini sessions. I recommend that they do special projects because there is a marketing value in doing special projects. And we'll talk about what type of projects we could do in just a little bit. So I can see that some of you are posting. I'm gonna let's see. Steve, I'm glad you're here. Thanks for being here. And Julie, hi Julie, I'm glad you're here. Carmen, that was a good lunch. Thank you for inviting me to lunch. She invited me to lunch at General Public in the Rim this past week, and I accepted, and we had a great conversation. Thank you, Carmen, for that. And driving, well, I hope you're having fun and going to have fun in San Marcos. And I appreciate that you're listening while you're driving. Thanks, Matt and Laurel. Appreciate you guys being here. And Sel, that's right. Oh, you're commenting on what I said before. Yes, thank you, Julie. And another Facebook user that's saying hi. Thank you. I'm glad you're here. Tell me who you are, though. Awesome. So I want to talk about the 8 steps to planning your next mini session. Now, let's talk about minis. I really actually do not like that name. That's a name that has shown up over the last 20 years, but it didn't exist really before that, maybe 30, but it just has not been that around all that long, relatively speaking. It was called a special project before, or something similar to it, or it just had a name, which is what I recommend you do, is you give it a real name. Mini session may be the category, but it doesn't make for the best name. So they are supposed to be very short. Now, if you're going to be adding in things to a mini session, like hair and makeup, obviously that's going to take some more time, but camera time is still going to be short. Could be 5 minutes, 10 minutes, 15 minutes. It could be up to 30. It's generally not going to be too long, though. It's a mini session. You've got them back to back. How many sessions, how much time can you be doing this if the mini session is too long? So your goal is to do your photography part in as short a period as possible. Regular sessions may begin around 30 minutes, but they could be shorter. Note, so that your client knows how to plan. Make sure that they know about camera time, how much time they're going to be spending at the camera. And if there's extras, like hair and makeup, clothing changes, or whatever, make sure that's part of the deal. So you may have 15 minutes of camera time, but there may be some other things that the client is doing. And so you need for them to arrive early in order to do those things potentially. Generally speaking only, I don't recommend including digital files. Now, does that mean always? Absolutely not. There's many times when I include digital files. But I want you to think this through. Mini session does not equal digital files. So I hope you're realizing that. By the way, if you've got some questions, go ahead and ask them in the chat. And as I see them, I will answer them. Let's see. I've got some more highs. I appreciate that, you guys. Hi, Paula. I'm glad you're here. Yes, that's a good point, Matt. Matthew says that having an assistant to welcome people and cue them up is crazy helpful. Oh, yeah. Yeah, it is. If you can, you should have an assistant. By the way, I say if you can, there are so many photographers wanting to learn. Get one of them to assist you. They're more than happy to learn. There's a lot of different ways to pay. Sometimes it's with money, but sometimes it's with knowledge. For years, I had an internship program and an internship and an apprentice program. And I didn't ever pay the interns or apprentices. They got paid with knowledge. They were able to take my classes, so there was that perk. But they would hang out and do whatever was needed to do for the session because they were learning. They found value in that. So even if you don't think you need an assistant with you, I do recommend that you let someone know. Go on to San Antonio Photography page or some other Facebook page and say, I'm going to be doing this next weekend. Would anybody like to assist? Now, make sure you share that this is for knowledge, so there's no confusion. We wouldn't want that. We're going to move right into that. Thank you. That's a good segue. So digital, not digital, but actual physical. It depends. I'm going to talk about how it depends. So I'm glad you're asking that question. I on my handout, I'm going to read this part. Generally speaking only, do not include digital files at all unless it is a promo social media image file. Now, again, I do include digital files sometimes. It's got to have a good reason for doing so, though. In my opinion, and you don't have to share this, in my opinion, if you're not doing more than what the neighbor could do, and I'm assuming your neighbor isn't a photographer, but if you're not doing more than a neighbor or a friend could do, then how are you placing yourself in the category of professional? Just because you're getting money? No, you've got to do something more than what average Joe can do. That's what they're expecting of you. And besides, don't you want to do more than what the neighbor can do? Yeah, of course you do, because you care. That's one really amazing and great thing about photographers. We care. We care about our clients. We care that our clients love our work. We feel it inside. Inside. When someone says, I love this, this is beautiful, this is amazing, you're feeling that. By the way, if you hear the opposite, you don't seem interested, you don't like something, you're feeling that too. By the way, that's normal and natural and good for us, but there are those who think that's just plain weird. Let's say you've got a photograph on a print, you're emotionally attached to that because you created it. It's your baby. And you should be, because that's what powers you to continue to do a great job. You want whoever it is, the audience for your photographs, to love this stuff. And you keep on growing and learning to make sure that happens. I think it's a good marketing tool to give out digital files that are social media digital files with your watermark on them. Now, I know everybody's got a different opinion on a watermark, and maybe at some point we'll talk about that a little bit more. But I believe it has to have a watermark because it's part of your marketing material. I mean, even my shirt has the name of the maker on it. I don't know if you can see that very well right there. It's not art. What I do is. I mean, when's the last time you went to a museum and looked at a painting on the wall and didn't see the artist's signature on it? I mean, if you're not proud of your work, don't watermark, don't sign. I get it. But then again, why would you be producing work you're not proud of? Yeah, if you're proud, sign or watermark, whichever the case is. For prints, absolutely sign. I sign in gold. But you can also emboss in gold. That's pretty darn cool too. But I believe that we should be signing our work or watermarking if it's going online. Are there exceptions? Of course there are. They're case by case, but of course there are. If it's going to be used for commercial purposes, of course you don't want to have your mark on it. If you're going to if it's going to be used for someone's Facebook profile page, it's just a headshot. Well, then it doesn't need anything on it at all. And if it's except for if it's a gift from you. If you're not charging anything for it, then it has your watermark, even if it is a headshot. So let me give you an example of why I do sometimes give away my digital files, because I know that's a question you're going to have or are having. I do it when I know I'm going to be overwhelmed and I need to cut the time down. Santa pictures. We do Santa pictures every year, and we have since 2005 using the same exact real beard Santa. Awesome guy. And our clients come back to us, maybe because they like me, but I'm thinking more because it's the same Santa every single year. I mean, that makes sense. We give them digital files, and we have from the beginning, since 2005, since we started working with him. At first, it was on a CD. Now it's digital download, usually via Dropbox. But we do that because we're trying to cut down the time, because we have an extremely busy schedule during after Thanksgiving and into November. To December. So we do include it then, and there's some other times that we do, but it's one of those things where to us it's just obvious. This is the obvious choice. But let's say you're only photographing 10. By the way, we usually photograph 150, but for our mini sessions for Santa. And we have in the past photographed as many as a little over 900. That's when we had an alliance with Bass Pro Shop. But we, by the way, I do see your questions here, and I will get to those here in just a moment. You know what? I should put this up. Heather says, yes, I would love to assist and learn. There's proof that there are people out there wanting to assist and learn. By the way, you will never know, no matter how much you feel you know right now, you'll never know all there is to know in photography. There's just too much. I've been studying photography since 1975. And if there's one thing I know very clearly, no matter how much I learn, it opens up new stuff every time. Therefore, I will never learn all there is to know about photography. So even those of you who feel like, I got it, I'm good, come on. You should be assisting also, in addition to having people assist you. You're going to learn some new stuff. You're going to grow as a photographer. Don't stop growing. You know it's true. You would give that advice if it were you speaking right now. And who would be our partner? Printing Labs? Ruben, you might be talking about a marketing thing that I kind of mentioned. It's what I'm thinking anyway, of alliances. A printing lab really isn't your alliance, but it is a vendor. I mean, you are working with them, and so I can see how it might fit that definition. But an alliance is something where it's two entities who are targeting the same market. So a lab doesn't target the same market that you're targeting. So you're a vendor, or they are a vendor of yours. So they wouldn't be what I am calling an alliance partner, although you do have that type of relationship with them. Nita, you have an assistant. Good. Perfect. I'm glad to hear that you're giving someone that opportunity. Thank you for doing that. All right. Back to where I was. I want you to give your mini session its own name. Don't call it a mini session. Don't call it Easter minis or Mother's Day minis. Give it a name. Something that everyone else is not going to have, most likely. Yeah, there's going to be overlap in names. I get it. But if you call it a mini, then everybody's calling it that. No, give it its own name. So here's the how. It depends on your goal, what your promotion is. But by thinking words like exclusive, special edition. If you really like the word mini, maybe choose petite, special project, limited, and then maybe add portrait experience. So think about that, a special edition portrait experience. That's just to get your mind set. That's not to finalize. Uh, Ruben asked, he meant would who would be recommended for prints since we do not offer digitals. All right, for everyone who's printing, well, you're going to print with Digital ProLab, but I'm thinking I'm misunderstanding your question. And with all the incentives that they're giving, I think you should order today, but that's just me. Who would be recommended for print since we do not offer digitals? Are you saying maybe the reverse? Since you don't offer prints? Because in that instance, yeah, of course you're going to. Okay, okay, perfect. Yeah, okay, good. I see the thank you there, Ruben. Good. So hopefully that means that I explained it or understood it. And Matthew, many diminishes the value. Yeah, that's a good point. You value the value of your photos won't be small, so don't put down your product in the name. So that's a good way to look at that. I like that. Yeah, very good. All right, so I'm moving into knowing your why. Anything you go into, we have to know why it is that we're doing it. And I recommend that you begin with the end. What do you want as a result? Why are we even doing this? Now, because that is so general, I can't be specific with it. If I was talking about something very specific, then yeah, a specific project, a specific mini session, yeah, we could be very specific with your why, but I want you to define why you are doing what it is you're doing. Once you have written it down, you become clear on it. And I want you to visit it often, meaning read it again. Don't write it once and never see it again. Read it again. In fact, for my own students, I recommend that they put things around their workspace that help them to realign with their goals, whatever objectives they have for long term, so that they view every decision they make through the filter of those decisions. So I think they should have their mission statement over here, their value statement, their vision statement, their target market description, and several other things right here, where they're seeing it constantly. Whenever they're making their decisions, they're viewing it through the filter of those important things to them. Define your why. Visit it often, especially if you feel like you're having some difficulties, some challenges. Yeah, define your why. Next, I want you to describe the process. Now, what does that mean? What's the process? These are the steps you're going to be taking. You get to define what that is. Some mini sessions are very similar to other mini sessions. Some are totally different. Remember, you are creating an experience for your client. You're not just there pressing the shutter release. So what is it that you're going to do? What are all the steps? From the moment that client arrives to the moment that client leaves, what's the client sales process like? But it also includes what you must do beforehand to make all that possible. Describe your process. What steps will I be taking? Also, I recommend writing thank you notes. Put that in the process. If you have assistants, what are their responsibilities? Matt mentioned a little while ago that you really need, when you're doing a mini session, you're going to be photographing constantly. So having an assistant there to do some things, at the very least, greet people as they arrive. And then probably a lot more, so that you can keep on working. But doing what? Describe your process. Number 4, let's talk about some project ideas. I believe that you need to give your thoughts a home. And so I believe you should create your own project idea form. By the way, if you go to Pinterest, you'll find tons of them. Choose one. project ideas, you're going to come up with ideas as you're coming up with the ideas. So you're going to come up with more. It's going to expand. You're going to be doing something else while you're not thinking about ideas. Have a place to put that idea so you can come back to it when it's time. I don't have it out, or I'd show you, but I have a binder. I have a binder for everything. There are 28 binders right here on this table, and there's 100 some odd more in other places around here. I put everything in a binder so that when I have a thought or idea, I've got a home, a place to put it. Otherwise, I'm going to lose it. I'm going to forget about it, or it's going to get watered down by the time I remember. Give it a home. Now, as far as project ideas, there's the obvious ones. Valentine's Day, spring break, Easter, Mother's Day, Father's Day, July 4th, back to school, Halloween, Christmas. There's a lot of obvious ones. Do you guys have any thoughts or ideas of some other special projects or mini sessions you could do? We see them posted on Facebook all the time, like sunflower minis and bluebonnet minis. As you're writing those in the comments, I want to bring up a couple of these questions here. Do you have a contract for minis? Guys, 20 years ago, nobody did, very few people did contracts for portrait work. Now, commercial work, yeah, for sure. But it's been in the last 2 decades where it's something you just do. Yeah, you need to do it. The easiest way is to have an app, some type of software that causes this to be very easy for you. This can be a real pain if you don't have software to help you out with it. So if you don't have software already, look into the different software companies out there. There's a bunch of them. Pixify, Dubsado, Sprout Studio, HoneyBook, 7 Hats. There's a ton of them out there. Look through those and find the one that you feel works best for your workflow. By the way, you might define what your workflow is, your processes, before you start looking at software companies, because that'll be overwhelming if you don't know what it is you're looking for. It'd be like walking into Home Depot or Lowe's saying, I need a tool. And that's all you know. You don't want to do that. So yeah, define what it is you want before you walk into that store, before you start looking into it. Here is, so Julie, yeah, you definitely want a contract. Thank you for asking that question. That is a really important question. Let's see. Matt says, call them power sessions or something bold, forward, not meek. Yeah, I like that. That's good. What else did he say here? Thank you cards. Yeah. Got to get their address. Yeah. That is something that in the past, we always got physical addresses because there weren't email addresses, but most people didn't have an email address before 1995. So yeah, that's when I first started. There were email addresses and I had heard of it, but not really anybody had them. So that's been a while. Yeah. So here's one idea that Lydia has shared, breastfeeding. That's definitely a good special project. And that could be a short one, but this also probably is more likely a full session. So it just depends. It's the reason I say that is because I don't know how many people you could get, how many sessions you could get back to back doing with this particular subject. So is it a good subject to photograph? Of course. Yeah, beautiful time. But for mini sessions, no. It could be a short session, but not a mini. Hello, whoever is there. Tell me who you are by clicking on accept the StreamYard so I know who's saying hi. But thank you for saying hi. Let's see. Lydia. Okay, cool. World Breastfeeding Week, 10 to 15. Yeah, awesome. That sounds like it could work then. Thank you for bringing that to my attention, Lydia. Yeah, good one. Let's see if there's any others there that I missed. No. Okay. So we're on project ideas right now. Yes. Yeah. So, if you guys have any more thoughts on project ideas, share those. But there's a ton of really cool things that we can do. You can do the mommy and me, the daddy and me. Those are ones you've heard of before. The Christmas tree farm during Christmas time. There's going to the beach, taking a handful of people to the beach, dressing kids up like their parents work. So you've got kids in scrubs and a stethoscope, or whatever. There's so many cool things that you can do, and I think this is a fantastic marketing tool to help you share with your clients. It also causes them to come back multiple times. Let's say you're a family portrait photographer. How many times does someone need a family portrait photographer? Not that often. Now, if they're doing Christmas cards every year, okay, maybe they want it every year. But a lot of clients just don't come back every single year. They come back. Some of them do, by the way. But it may be every 2 years, 3 years, 5 years. There's some clients that you'll see them once every 10 years. That's a really long time. I want to give them reasons to encourage them to come back multiple times, because I feel like the longer the period of time is between the times that I work with them, not just contact, not just email or Facebook posts or Instagram posts, actual working with them. If that period of time between two sessions is too long, they will forget, or something else will come along that sounds really good and they want to check that out. So I want to give them reasons to keep on coming to me. And this is one of the tools that I use for that. Fall minis. That's a good one, Lydia. The colors are different that time of year, especially if you're in the Northeast, but even here in Central South Texas. Yeah, good one, Lydia. All right. I think we covered project ideas. There's a lot more that we actually could talk about this, but not in this short period of time for an hour. And so let's move to the power of one. Now, I also have a class that it's called the Power of 12. There's different times when different numbers are appropriate. In this instance, one. I want you to do one thing at a time. Don't overwhelm yourself, at least at first. Do one project. And in addition to the one project, use one marketing method to start, just so you can focus all your attention on it. So you can get a feel of what it's supposed to feel like and what it's not. I mean, you know when something hasn't gone well, and you know when something has. So the power of one is choose one project at a time and choose one marketing tool at a time, because you don't want to get overwhelmed, not at first, until you get the hang of it and you have some record keeping to look at. By the way, keep records. Write down what happened, what you did. You need to be able to look at it the next time it comes up. Give this project and marketing tool everything you've got. Give it everything, 100%. Now, this applies here, but this applies in your business, period. Don't allow excuses. That is so much easier said than done. Seriously, everyone has excuses. There's no one who doesn't have that. The difference is either you accept those excuses and hopefully not give up, but some do. The successful photographers will power through them, though. Excuses are powerful. They are real. They work very hard to get in our way. But you must be stronger than those excuses, those reasons. You have to focus on what the end result goal is supposed to be, because those little things that get in the way may cause you to have to change direction, find a detour temporarily. But as long as you know what the end result is supposed to be, you're going to get there. Just remain focused. Easier said than done. I get it. Number 6 on my list is accountability. Like I mentioned before, this isn't easy. You can make it simple with organization, with planning, but it's not going to be easy. It's your passion, your drive, your dedication that you already have that's going to cause you to power through, as long as you don't allow excuses to get in your way. It does help to state your goals so that others know what to expect of you. That way you have a bit of self-imposed pressure to get things done. So accountability comes in many forms. It could be that you're telling a significant other. It could be that you're stating something on a social media page. It could be that it's just written and in front of you in your workspace. Or you could use a dry erase marker and write it on your mirror in your bathroom. I've done that. Of course, I usually write things like, I love you, I'm thinking about you, to my wife instead of that, but she thinks that's cool. You use it however you want to, but I believe that some level of accountability is going to get you a long way, because you know that other people are expecting things of you. You know you're being watched. So therefore, you're going to be on your best behavior. You're going to try to do things right. And you're going to allow fewer excuses to get in your way. Accountability. Number 7, this is software. I mentioned earlier that there's a lot of benefit to having software. Again, go back when I started this, there wasn't anything like this. It didn't take long before there was, but the original stuff just wasn't all that, let's just say it was bad. It was. It wasn't that they didn't try hard enough. They did. The people who wrote it were awesome. It just didn't do what you needed it to do. But now it's different. Things are amazing. The software programs are incredible. So I think you should take advantage of them. Anything that you can automate, automate. Don't try to do things yourself if you have the potential to automate them. If you need help in automating, then look up how to automate things. There's plenty of YouTube videos on that. That's not what we're going to talk about today. But there are plenty of ways to automate what you do. Do them, all of them. All right, so software. It is optional, but I highly recommend it. Highly. Now, this tool that I'm recommending here that you see here, it says stickymarketingtools.com. And no, I do not get a commission if you purchase it. I don't have a marketing relationship with them. I've reached out and called them a handful of times for different reasons, but not for that. So I'm not promoting them because it's a moneymaker for me. That relationship doesn't exist. So I thoroughly believe in this. And even if I had that relationship, I wouldn't share something with you that I didn't believe in. But this tool makes it very easy for you to build a marketing system around your mini sessions, around your regular sessions as well. But topic today is mini. So use your tools. There are lots of options. This one is simple. They have a special going on right now where they will build your website and funnels your marketing tools. And they do it in a very short period of time, assuming you have your materials together. I mean, you have to have certain things together. You've got to have photographs and testimonials or whatever it is that you want on your page or pages. Got to have those. If it takes you 2 weeks to get it to them, well, they can't finish it during that time because you haven't got it to them yet. You get it. So Sticky Marketing Tools. Take a moment to look at that. In fact, how about if I stop sharing temporarily and share with you that page so that you know what it is I'm talking about. Let's see. I have it on a different page, so I'm hoping I'll be able to share it with you. Yep, there we go. All right, so Sticky. Your website is not booking enough clients. Hey, we've all been there. These guys can help you. They can help. So I definitely recommend them. The owner's name is Nate Grahek. Fantastic guy. Good, caring person, normal, just a calm, helpful, loving guy. And so he's got a team of people together who help you out with this. And I don't know what their regular charge is to put this together. I think it's like, I don't know, $2,000, $3,000. I'm not sure, but they have it on sale right now. And I think it's $699. I don't know if you think that's a lot, but that is cheap for what they're going to do. You're going to make that money back. I mean, the first job you do. So it's, to me, a no-brainer. If you've got it, this is where you need to spend it. So yeah, Sticky Marketing Tools, fantastic. All right, coming back to the next one, we're going to talk about pricing. So let me share that screen again. There we go. Pricing. Now, I have I guess I could have taken you straight to the price list mini session. I'm gonna show you how to price this. And I see that I have like 2 minutes to do that, so I'm not going to finish. But I do have a class that's for this. It's a private class where I go over all of the different variables of your mini session or full session, either way. But I go over all the variables, all the processes, and I have forms and different things that you're going to be able to use, scripts and all that kind of good stuff. But we go over how to do this so that every single one of your sessions is profitable. It wouldn't surprise me if you have put messages out there on Facebook, on email, or wherever, and you've gotten no calls, no bookings, or maybe just one of someone, a good friend, someone who really likes you, who would do anything, but you haven't filled the calendar. You have to fill the calendar. It's part of the plan. And I help you do that. Now, does that mean that everything I do is going to cause you to do that? No, because you have to implement and do things on your own and test and tweak to make it happen. But I can definitely help you on that path, and in only 2 hours. Now, you can do more, but in 2 hours, you're going to get a good, solid foundation. And one of the things that we go over, I'm going to stop sharing this for just a moment and bring up, let's see if I can share that, because there may be another step I have to do before I can share it. It is. Just a moment while I make that change. There it is. You're going to like this. Those of you who like math are going to like this. So if you don't like math, you're going to be glad that I'm doing it for you, because that's what's coming. I'm sharing that screen now. All right. So what you're seeing right now is how to price a mini session. And this actually takes about 2 hours itself to go over. I'm going to really rush through this. So the very first thing that's here, and it's not where you start. You start by defining what the end result is. But let's talk about money, because we need to know our prices, right? I think too many people think that your price is determined by what other photographers charge. No, it's not how pricing works. Pricing is based off of what your goals are, what you're trying to accomplish. It has nothing to do with the next person. The next person doesn't have the same needs and wants and goals that I have. So therefore, how could their prices be the same? Yeah, don't waste your time looking at other people's prices. It's an irrelevant variable. It's interesting. It's irrelevant, completely and totally irrelevant. And there are people who will tell you differently. They're wrong. And I can prove it. But for now, if you say, I want to make $2,000 for this weekend, $2,000 this weekend, there's a few of you that would think it'd be pretty darn cool to have an extra $2,000 by the end of the weekend. Guys, you can do that. Maybe not this weekend because there's not enough time to plan for it. but in a near upcoming weekend, maybe by the end of the month. Wouldn't you like to have an extra 2,000 by the end of the month? I mean, I like that. So yeah, you can do that. You define though, what do I want to make? From all this effort I'm about to put in to create this mini session, how much money do I feel I should make from it? Now, 2,000 for some of you, you're going to look at that and go, I wouldn't do it for 2,000. If it's not at least 10,000, I'm not even bothering. And others of you look at the 2,000 and say, oh my gosh, I've never made that in a weekend before in my life. That would be fantastic. It's just based on what point of view you have right now. By the way, that view changes the more success you see. By the way, the more time you spend with the Portrait Profit Show and apply what you learn, you're going to see that $2,000 as being a breeze. Nothing. Stick with me. I can help. All right. So how much money do you want to make? Let's say it's $2,000. How many sessions do you want to do? Let's say you're doing it on Saturday, Sunday, maybe. So you do X number on one and X number on the other, and it adds up to, let's say, 12 sessions. How many sessions do you want to do per hour? In this instance, the last person who answered that question said 2. I don't know who was the last person to answer the question, but they said 2, meaning 30-minute sessions. And I think, if I remember correctly, it's because they had hair and makeup, and they were going to do an hour session with the client, but a half hour would be hair and makeup, half hour would be with them. Number of hours of photography times 6. How much are your expenses? In this instance, it was $300. Amount you need to bring in to reach your goal, $3,059, because we have to account for expenses and taxes. That tells us very specifically how much we need to charge per client. $255. By the way, I'm looking at this and seeing that maybe the last person that filled this out, because I do allow you to do that, was not considering the cost of the hair and makeup person, because there's no way that all of your expenses adds up to $300 if you're including a hair and makeup person. So that number probably is not right, but that's just in looking at it on the surface. All right, so $255. So here's a few more things. How long do you think it'll take to plan? 5 hours. How long do you think it'll take to photograph the marketing images? I mean, you have to have something to show. 2 hours. How long do you think it'll take to create the marketing pieces and then implement every single step of the marketing, the continuous steps of the marketing? 7 hours. Consider any additional time, drive time, if you're going to do consultations, whatever takes your time. And so this person said 2. How many hours will you have? That's interesting. I'm going to fix that because it bothers me. How many hours will you have? How many hours will you have sessions available for? 6, and that's the same number that we had up here, right there. Post-production time, digital enhancement, packaging, an hour. That sounds short, but that's what that person wrote down. Appreciation and thank you notes takes you about an hour. Anything else? 0. So total number of hours to complete the project, 24 hours. We need to know how much time it's going to take, guys. If you were paying someone else to do this, if you were an employer and you're paying an employee, you would need to know how many hours you have to budget for it. Well, guess what, guys? You're both employer and employee. If you don't pay yourself, you're the worst freaking boss ever. Don't be that boss. Be a good boss. Pay yourself. 24. So amount you're going to be taking home, amount you want to make, 2,000. Amount you need to be making per hour of work, 83. That's just a curiosity. But that says for that project, you're worth $83 an hour for every single one of those 24 hours that you're working. And those are some specifics that I'm not going to get into because of time. And I just realized that I'm right up against the time wall. So I'm going to look at the comments. I see that there are several. Maybe there's some I need to answer real quick. Let's see. Lydia. Oh, thank you for saying that. Zig Ziglar, write it down. Zig Ziglar, good guy. If you guys don't know who Zig Ziglar is that Julie's mentioning, get to know who that guy is. He's passed away, but man, what some of the best advice you've ever heard comes from this guy, Zig Ziglar. That's funny, Matt. I'm not going to post that one. I'm glad I get to control that. And so mini sessions, man, a fantastic marketing tool. Now, some people do use them as their business model, and that's fine too. But I am more gearing this particular talk today on those who have regular sessions, but then also have mini sessions occasionally, maybe 3, 4 times, 5 times, 6 times, however many times a year. And so I'm more gearing it towards them. For me and what I was doing, by the way, I stopped marketing my photography 2 years ago. That doesn't mean I don't do it anymore, because I do. I'll usually have 2 or 3 jobs a month, even without any marketing, but that's just because of people I've worked with over the 30 plus years that I've been doing this. But I'm not doing any marketing. I'm not actively seeking any business. But up until 2018, I was actively filling my calendar, and I had it full for nearly the entire 2019, even without any marketing in 2019. But in the last 3 years, 2017, 2018, 2019, I had probably 3, 4, 5 mini sessions per year. And they're just used as a marketing tool to keep me out in front of my clients, to make sure they're thinking about me, to give them a reason to come back. Plus, it wasn't just marketing, because I made money on the deal. It's always good to make some money on the deal, right? It's a win-win. They actually want you to stay in business. Most clients, if they realized you were charging an amount that was really low, would question, can you make a profit doing this? Or, I don't want this to cause you to go out of business. Some of them will actually be thinking about that kind of thing. You want all of your endeavors for business purposes to be profitable. That doesn't mean you don't have an occasional charity type of thing. Now, charity could be organized, or it could be personal charity. But that is when you're giving something away. Or a reduced price. And we all do that here and there every once in a while, because there are things that we believe in. We're just a reminder, creatives, we're all caring people. We care about the other people's situation. That can actually cause us some harm in addition to doing good, but for the most part, it's a good thing. The next, talking about the charities and giving, we're going to be talking about that on August 16th. So what's that, 2 weeks away? Win-win charity in your business. We're going to be talking about an appropriate way of giving so that it doesn't become overwhelming. By the way, at one point I was giving a lot of stuff away and free and reduced, and they kept on calling because, well, they realized I did that and they liked what I was doing. So therefore they continued to call. So I got kind of overwhelmed with those requests. And so I had to form a path, a process to make this happen. And now we limit Landers Photography's school and Landers Photography to just 12 charities per year. So that's all we're giving to it. Once we hit that number, we just stop, because it becomes overwhelming. And so we've planned and organized this. It'll be about that and a whole lot more. That's August 16th. Put that on your calendar. Next week, we're going to be having a panel discussion. We'll have 2 or 3 photographers answering some questions so that you can hear the points of view of multiple photographers. So put that on your calendar. By the way, that's the second Monday of the month. So therefore, it's at 6:30. Portrait Profits is at noon every single Monday, with one exception, and this is to accommodate those who can't be here for lunchtime. We have that one on August 9th, the second Monday of every month at 6:30, and we'll have a panel discussion. And to round out the month, you already heard this one, on August 16th, a win-win charity in your business. On August 23rd, that's at noon, Be Found Everywhere. By the way, that's a wonderful compliment as a marketer of photographic services, for someone to tell you, when you ask, how did you hear about me? And they say, I see you everywhere. Yeah, I'm going to show you how to do that. And at the end of the month, don't seek the seekers. Guys, you've seen this before a million times. Someone posts something on Facebook. and they say, I'm looking for a wedding photographer, a portrait photographer, and 20, 30, 40, 50 photographers respond, I don't. And I'm fine. In fact, I'm better than fine. When you seek the seekers, you are putting yourself in the crowd. What is one thing that photographers ask of me? What would you think? I'll give you a guess. Or I'll just tell you. They say, what does it take to stand out from the crowd? Stop putting yourself in it. Seriously, stop putting yourself in it. If there are 20 people doing exactly the same thing and you do it too, guys, you've just put yourself in the middle of the crowd, something you said you wanted to stand out from. Got to stop doing that. Besides, how many people, percentage-wise, at any one point in time are looking for photographers? You may think that, well, that's the only people who need a photographer, those who are looking. No, it's not. It absolutely is not. You've got maybe 1%, and let's go crazy with it. Maybe there's 5% looking right now. That's still 95% that are not seeking. That is where I put all my marketing effort. Those who aren't. And I stay busy. I'll show you how. On August 30th at noon. Put these on your calendar. Be there. All you have to do is show up on, be on Facebook, on the Portrait Profits page, or on the Digital Pro Lab page, or any of the others that we are live streaming to, and you're able to do this. Now, I want to tell you guys about, thanks, Ruben. Appreciate you saying that. I want to tell you guys about what Amanda was talking about earlier. She said she's got a special deal for prints. And so I'm going to share that deal with you right now. Where is it? I know it's right here. It's a good deal. I already saw it. 40% off. Here it is. All right, Digital Pro Lab, 40% off of 5x5s, 5x7s, 8x10s. And now this is either the Pro Luster or metallic prints. This is a high quality print, by the way. Use promo code commit to print. No spaces. Commit to print. And this expires in a week. Is that right? No, less than a week. By the end of the week. 8/6. August 6th is when this expires. Commit to print. So go to digitalprolab.com. Upload your photographs. Order whatever sizes you want, 5x5, 5x7, or 8x10. Choose the paper, Pro Luster or metallic. And then at checkout, enter promo code commit to print. No spaces. I'd say do that now because you're going to forget. Well, as soon as we end this. Take advantage of that. I'll leave that up for just a little bit longer, just in case. Do a screenshot if you need it, just in case. I want to remind you about Digital Pro Lab's email or website, landersphotoschool.com. And I want to tell you about the camera club. Go to meetup.com/photo essay. We have a different speaker every single month. That's meetup.com/photo essay. By the way, you can just rewind and come back to this if it's not there long enough for you. I also want to tell you about the annual San Antonio Photography Tournament. You probably already know about it because this is its 9th year. So maybe you don't, but you'd probably have to be hiding under a rock not to know. But usually, let's say the last in-person one there was 150 photographers that showed up to compete. Last year and this year are virtual tournaments. And so you'll be doing them from wherever you're at, just as long as you have an internet connection. But go to saphotoevents.com to get some more information. saphotoevents.com. It's only $39. So it's very cheap to participate. Plus there are thousands in prizes, thousands. One year we had $72,000 in prizes. We don't know exactly how much prizes we're going to get till right at the end because sponsors are still donating things. Right now we're well over 2,000, but there will be tens of thousands most likely because that's what we've had in the past. We'll see. Let's see. Any other announcements I need to make? I'm going to look at the comments. Okay, very good. All right, so let me go back to the Digital Pro Lab screen because I want you to take advantage of that. Man, that's a good deal. 40% off, guys. 40% off a 5x5, 5x7, 8x10 luster and metallic prints if you use commit to print. Do it now. I want to thank you for spending your time here with me for this episode of the Portrait Prophet Show. I know you're sacrificing something else, and I am grateful for your time that you're spending here. We want to uplift the photography community, both Digital Pro Lab and Landers Photography School. And there's a lot of others out there who want that as well. You're part of that group by simply being here. For Landers Photography School and Digital Pro Lab, this is Jim Landers bringing you the weekly Portrait Prophet Show, giving you evolving content, awareness, and even fun to the business side of photography. We provide helpful information, step-by-step processes, how-to articles, and action steps that will help you with the struggles that you deal with now so that you are constantly realigned to the path that leads to the success you deserve. Thank you guys for being here today.